We could not have asked for a more exciting 3x3 final. Heading into the Speedcubing World Championship, the stakes were high, but no one anticipated the mind-blowing performances Yiheng and Zhuanyi would unleash. These two always bring out the best in one another, so it would be no surprise if one of them claimed the title of World Champion. In the last World Championship in Korea, no competitor came close to a sub-5 average in finals. This time, we had 3. In this epic showdown, 2 contestants stood out among the rest, Yiheng Wang and Zhuanyi Gang. Both are phenomenal, but also very different. Yiheng, known for his rapid turn speed, uses CFOP, a method where he used 2 last layer algorithms. Zhuanyi, on the other hand, uses the ZB method, once thought to be impossible to use in a speed solve, recognizing one of 500 algorithms in a split second. It takes practice on another level to master this technique. Now both compete in the most anticipated final in cubing history. Before the final, there are 3 elimination rounds to decide who even deserves a spot in the 16-person head-to-head round to begin with. Round 1 trimmed out 2/3 the astonishing 1,823 competitors. But for Yiheng and Zhuanyi, this wasn't even a challenge. Round 2 was even tougher, cutting out 90% of the 600 cubers who made it past round 1. And then the semifinals brought out the fiercest battle yet. Who would make the top 16, and who would see their journey end? With the matchups set, each seed faced off. 16 versus 15, 14 versus 13, and all the way down to 2 versus 1. Standouts from the lower seeds include Qixin Cao placing 4th with a 5.43 average, and a coincidental moment when both Wuxi's went head-to-head, and tied down to the 100th of a second. Then things started to get interesting, as seed number 3, Timon Koloshinsky, and seed 4, Max Park, entered the stage. Timon, fluent with CB, and matching Max's turn speed, had the edge in efficiency, and it showed. 3 sub-5s secured him a 4.96, putting him in first and locking him a podium finish. Finally, the moment we'd all been counting down for 2 years at this point. Would Yiheng get his long-awaited redemption, or would Zhuanyi capture his first major title ever? 5 solves decide the future of speedcubing. Zhuanyi, the second seed, kicked things off with a 4.94, proving that the pressure has not affected him yet. Once it was Yiheng's turn, everyone quieted. This was the moment that he had been drilling for. He had beaten the world record average 7 times since Worlds 2023 to show that he was going to dominate. But would he? A 5.45. Yiheng knew at this point that if he got anything else bad, it might just be over for him. Zhuanyi then followed with an OLL skip into a J-turn, a 430. Solid, yet he knew that it could have been sub-4. Yiheng responded with fire, the first ever sub-4 in the World Championship final. You can just tell how relieved he is by this solve. But if he doesn't count anything good, it just won't matter. So for this solve, Yiheng actually does a really cool X-cross. You can face from right here. There's these 2 cross pieces already solved, and you've got these 2 right here. So what Yiheng does is a D prime, and that sets up this cross piece, and then he's just going to do an R. Now that's going to be setting up for an X cross, so we put in this piece with a B, and then when you put in that edge, then you form an X cross in the back. His next pair is this one. You can pair it up here, and then instead of just inserting it, you'd get this case. He notices that you can pair these up while you're inserting it if you do a U2 insert, and then you come up with this case where you can see there's going to be a 3 mover right here if you just insert it, then you've got a 3 mover. And then Yiheng uses this alg and then into an A-perm. Just like that. This solve was 41 moves and only 10 TPS, which is actually really slow for Yiheng. Zhuanyi then dropped a 4.24, on pace for one of, if not his best performance in the competition so far. Yiheng, still fighting nerves extremely well, counts of 4.31, only 0.01 slower than Zhuan Yi's. Zhuan Yi is 2 decent solves away from a PR average, and so let's see what he can get on one of the best scrambles we've seen so far, the 4th.
Let's just let this play out.
Now this scramble is really good. You have 2 cross pieces already in, and these 2 are set up to just do U2, and then you can choose to insert the front one first or the right one first. And in inspection, of course, Zhuan Yi can see the first pair, so he knows that if you do the F2 first, you will get a free pair here, which you can just insert. Now there's this pair. You can solve with no rotations, and then while you're inserting this, you can go straight into this pair, just like that. Now here's a ZBLS into a ZBLL. And Zhuan Yi had 12 TPS on this solve, and it was 49 moves. Now it's Yiheng's turn on the scramble. If he can get anything good, he could even count the 3.8. 3.94, and this solve is counting. Now Yiheng on the solve did the exact same first 3 pairs, but of course he doesn't use ZBLS, so you can do the U2, F2, R2, insert the free pair, do the next pair, cancel into this one, and then at this point he uses CFOP, so he pairs up that. Here I would just do the OLL, but he uses a different alg. It goes like this into an E-perm. Since Yiheng doesn't use ZB, this solve was more moves. It was 52 moves and 13 TPS. Zhuan Yi will now need a very good last solve to lock in a win. BPA of 4.16, WPA of 4.49. Even though this is a bad solve for Zhuan Yi, and he got his worst possible average, he still had an amazing solution that I need to show you. So in this solve, Zhuan Yi makes a triple X cross, and so I just wanted to show you that here. So for this solve, Zhuan Yi's gonna hold it like this. He's doing yellow cross, and so what you can do is put in this cross pieces into the front, and then that one right there, and then rotate up and solve this one. What that does is it solves these 2 edges, and Zhuan Yi can just put in that corner and then this corner. So he has these 2 corners and these 2 edges, but while he was solving this one, it actually put in a 3rd edge. So what he can do is just solve this one into its slot. And there he has a triple X cross. And from here, you can just rotate. And then there's this ZBLS. And then for this ZBLL, it's just kind of like CFOP. Just like that. Even though this was a bad time, I feel like this was a very smart solution, and it just came down to his turning. Now it was Yiheng's turn. He needed a 5.23 or better. He'd done it countless times, but echoes of Worlds 2023 haunted the moment. And he delivered. 4.43 to win the World Championship Finals. He ended up with a 4.23 average, which happened to beat the world record from only 10 months ago. By the way, the next World Championship will be in Sweden. It was just announced at the end of the competition. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.